Hello friends. The book that I'm going to be reviewing today is called Off the Beaten Track, the story of my unconventional life. This is a book written by Saeeda Bano, who is the protagonist in Urdu. And then the book was translated into English by her granddaughter, Shahana Raza. This book, I feel, is a must read for every woman, no matter what the age or stage of life. When you read this book, when you read about her life, there is so much that you can relate to, identify with. The trials and tribulations, the challenges, the problems that she faces, well, they seem, pretty much the same kind of problems that we women in this urban, modern India, modern world face. And what emerges from the book is that, people may change, times may change, but there are certain things that never change. And those certain things are the quest which women have always had for their economic independence, social security. Things which are taken for granted by men, women really have to fight for them every inch of the way. So this is basically a book about that. But then it's not a sob story. It's not that though she has to face these challenges, she's constantly wallowing in self-pity. No, not at all. The book has a very positive feel to it. It tells you that if you have problems, then there are solutions to those problems. And the solutions to those problems are lurking just around the corner. You just have to get up and look for them. And if you have the courage, you're bold enough, you will be able to, pick up those solutions. You'll be able to adopt those choices in life. Choices which may seem difficult, but, well, spell happiness for you, eventually. So this is what the book talks about. And as Saeeda says, she led a very, very unconventional life. In those days, she learned how to drive a car. She learned how to stand up for her beliefs, for her convictions. Then when her husband deserts her, she doesn't decide to sit and wait for him. She walks out of the marriage. And what is beautiful is the way her mother and mother-in-law support her in this decision. Though there are other people who are not supportive, but these two women are, and Saeeda decides to walk out. She decides to move to a new city where, of course, she takes up, work at the All India Radio where she's the Urdu broadcaster. And she has two children by then, one of whom she puts in the hostel and the younger one she gets with her. And then, of course, the partition takes place, the horrors of the riots, the partition, all of those she faces. And after that, she decides to build her life, and because she doesn't want to be dependent on anyone, she decides to live in a working woman's hostel. So pretty unconventional for those days. And then, to make it even more unconventional, she falls in love with a married man. So she meets this man, both of them like each other. And of course, they cannot lead the normal conventional life of, getting married to each other. But the next 25 years of her life, she spends being there for him. He's there for her, she's there for him. A beautiful, beautiful love story. And then, of course, you come across instances which, again, you can relate to. Being a single woman, it's difficult for her to get a house on rent. And, of course, people frown upon her relationships. But she faces it all with boldness, with a panache. It is as though it's not that these things don't trouble her, but she knows that she has to face it. She has to do what she believes in. Another thing which the story brings out very beautifully is the way parents should raise their children, and in particular their daughters. Do not just make them literate, make them educated. Teach them to be confident, teach them to believe in themselves, their self-esteem, their self-worth. Teach them they're all very, very important things. And also, don't protect them from every adversity. Don't keep them wrapped up in a cotton wool, not to face any difficulty, because believe me, life does bring a lot of challenges, a lot of problems. And if you haven't faced adversity, you will find it very difficult to face it when it actually stares you in the face. So that, I think, is a very beautiful message which the book brings out. And when you look at the times in which Saeeda lived and we compare them to our times, we women are so much more better in terms of facilities, education, technology, all of those things that we have which were not available at that time. And still, many times we don't do things that we should be doing. Either, it's out of, because of what the people will say, or there's plain inertia, we just don't have the courage, whatever it is. So I think this is something that we need to learn from her life. Learn it, but to learn it, you have to read the book. So here goes, read the book. It's a wonderful, wonderful read. Thank you.